Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults.
And beer.
And beer.
I was even on time that time.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of trying sometimes when you have a co-host who's an active member of the National Guard.
That is not me. No one will harm me.
But yeah, Paul's doing like a month, whatever they do in the National Guard. I don't know. And I was going to have Todd on for this one, but Todd still hasn't. He's a Spectrum casualty.
Oh, I gotcha.
The Spectrum is god awful. But yeah, his internet got fried about a week ago in a storm by lightning, and and they still haven't fixed it.
Oh shit, man! I would be going nuts.
Yep. So. But I've gotten used to having, guests on, so.
Yeah, I mean, right?
This is Mark from Mental Illness Theater, by the way.
Oh yeah, I should introduce myself because no one has any idea. Yeah, I'm Mark from Mental Illness Theater, longtime friend of Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer.
Yep.
Here to cover for an episode.
Yeah. And also, listeners, if you keep checking, like around the time that this episode comes out, if you go back into the Canada binge and find the Marriotts and Melvins episode, it might have Paul on it, or it might have Mark on it. It might.
Possibly. Depends on how that works out.
Because once Paul gets back, we're going to redo that one because, well,
I'm from the area, and we kind of lived through it because I lived in the Eastern Canada during that time, and actually I went to school with one of the Marriott. Now he wasn't involved at the time, but yeah, I mean, he could always get the good drugs. I remember that specifically.
There's a reason for that.
Yes, there was. Clayton got the good shit.
And it also ties in with your insane series about the Nova Scotia Massacre, all 8 parts of it.
Jesus Christ. 10 fucking hours. That one hurt my brain. I'm so over that. So glad it's done.
But the real reason is I should have had Mark on that episode in the first place, and the person that I did have on, I'm not really, all that cool with anymore.
I'm sorry to giggle. I just know the backstory, and it will never stop making me laugh. I'm just saying. I'm not naming any names.
Right.
But if someone has a podcast that sounds like just every other podcast, and they call you boring, they're fucking wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Called me unoriginal.
That was, like, Jesus Christ. Dude.
And this was after he had just gotten busted for plagiarism. He calls me unoriginal.
And a friend of mine called that podcast, like, trope true crime podcast. Because it's just what you expect. It's one guy spitting, and it's just dry, and it's the most expected thing. Bill, that you are not. So I took personal offense to that.
Yeah.
So,
and I haven't talked to him since. I was starting. I'm
over it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I want to make our episodes better, and having you on for that episode, it will definitely make it a lot better.
Well, we'll see about that. But
it
I'll
will.
Try my best.
We gotta wait till Paul's back because he was part of the Canada binge too. So.
Oh, absolutely.
And. Yes, most of those episodes. I took a weird approach with the Canada binge, because it's like I found the biker war, the Quebec biker war, the Marriotts and Melvins, that cult that nobody had ever heard of that I found that was just absolutely horrible.
That's Canada, man. And in a sense, you just nailed everything about Canada. We have this truly horrific shit that goes on, and no one talks about it. It's just like, well, we're going to put that to bed, forget about it. And then someone, years down the line comes along and finds it, and they're like, with their mind blown, like, how the fuck does no one know about this?
Yeah, that cult episode was... It was intense. I haven't had one get to me like that in a long time.
You should do Scientology next.
I don't want to do any multi-parts anytime soon because I still haven't recovered from that 4-part on Picton.
That'll do it. And now he's dead.
Yep. If the dude had just done it like 3 weeks earlier, I would have been able to wrap up the Picton story completely in part 4. But no, I had to do it. Like that, I had to do an but I had to do an update, which apparently is unoriginal.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Oh man,
but this
that
story
irritated me a lot. Yes, what story are we doing this?
This story that we got, well, it's not from Canada. It's from Virginia. We're covering Jesse Matthew Jr., the back-to-school killer. And this is one that I had never heard of him before. There's like maybe 1 or 2 podcast episodes about him out there. And I started researching it. I found a whole bunch of information on him. I'm like, yeah, we're doing this one, and it's a crazy story.
Awesome. I love him crazy.
Yeah, this one, we're going to start off with some of the crimes before we actually introduce him. Just the story flows better that way.
But you know what you're doing, man.
So he's a serial rapist and a murderer.
That's a bad combo.
He committed 3 rapes that are known, but there's likely many more. And the 2 murders that he committed, as well as the 3 rapes, were done in college towns right around the time that the fall semester was about to begin. Hence the name, the back-to-school killer.
Back to school. God.
New students had, arriving, not really knowing the lay of the land, hadn't made friends yet. Targets.
Yeah. Getting used to the place. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not as mobbed as the beginning of this official school year. So. He was born December 14th, 1981. He did have a rough childhood, which contributed to his criminal activities later in life, but we'll get to that later. I'm going to tell the story as the events happen, as in the real-life timeline of the police and the media working these cases. This guy's a monster, and if he hadn't been caught, he could have easily been another Ted Bundy, meaning a nice guy who would have never been suspected of murder.
Those are I hate those types so much. Like, give me a Richard Chase covered in rabbit blood, obviously mentally ill and not doing well, compared to Ted Bundy and his fucking cast trying to get you to help him. I don't like it. Yeah.
But unlike Bundy, who was the subject of a TV series called The Deliberate Stranger. Why do I keep saying Jethy?
I don't know.
That's not even a word.
It's his name now. He is now Jethy.
Jethy? Okay, we'll go Jethy.
He's now just lean into it, man. Fuck it. And your name is now Jethy.
Just own it. Jethy Matthew he wasn't a deliberate stranger. He was a deliberate socialite. He was the life of party. Lots of people looked up to him and even loved him. The sources for this are Very Scary People, Season 4, Episodes 3 and 4. There's lots from WTVR.com, which is CBS Channel 6 in Richmond, and WFXRTV.com. So, Morgan Harrington was a great student. And she and her family lived in Harrisburg, Virginia. She was gorgeous, and she kind of looked like Avril Lavigne.
Okay.
She's Canadian, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
I thought so. Oh, that's right. She married that Nickelback guy.
Yeah. I mean, in a world with Anthony Kiedis, I don't understand hating Chad Kroeger.
I just... I don't know. My problem with Nickelback is like some of their songs are just so blatantly raunchy just for the sake of being blatantly raunchy.
Okay, digression time. We're gonna have a lot of those. I have defended Nickelback, not musically. They're not my thing, but you were alive in the early 2000s. That band worked. They put out an album every fucking year, and they toured extensively. Like they're not good, but they put the work in. They got successful. There's worse out there. Like I said,
well, they got their start at Piggy's Palace. I mean, what could go wrong?
Right? Yeah, they're connected to Robert Picton for fucking ever. So, you know, but I mean, I get hating them. I just don't understand the level of hate, I guess. But they're awful.
They're actually, but they are talented. They're not like some of these bands that just come out there and just the music just sucks. They know like 3 or 4 chords and just bang on the guitars and go la, 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 la. And I'm not even. That's not even that's not even a dig at death metal. I mean, most of those guys can actually play. So, but
oh yeah, well, it depends what
I'm talking about.
Get into metal and whatnot.
I'm talking about the bands that would start off as a Nirvana cover band and not do it very well.
I mean, Nirvana's it's more subtle. It's tough, but I mean, like I know what you mean because I've always another band, Limp Bizkit. I hate Limp Bizkit, but live they were tight. They knew how to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they put on a good show.
They're terrible. I hate.
But I can't
about
handle.
Them. And you.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
They're from Florida too. Ugh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, yeah. But Morgan wanted to become a teacher, and more importantly, she wanted to teach in third world countries. She had a little bit of rebelliousness with her parents when she was in high school, but they quickly mended their issues by the time she had graduated, and she was enrolled in college at UVA. She was super intelligent. She was very mature, and she was a metalhead.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Do you know what bands?
Huh?
Do you know what her bands were? What bands you liked?
Metallica and Pantera.
Oh, shit. Nice. That's a good mix.
Mm-hmm. But on October 17th, 2009, UVA was getting ready to start its fall semester, and Morgan was about a week away from leaving home to stay at campus. But she was getting ready to make a trip to Charlottesville for another reason, because Metallica was in concert at the John Paul Jones Arena at the UVA campus, and she was going. This would have been on their Death Magnetic tour.
What year was this again?
2009.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this would have been the Death Magnetic tour, which not one of their better albums, but whatever. It was better than Saint Anger.
I gave up after the Black Album when I was 13, sorry to say.
But Morgan and her friends had been planning this night for months, and they were super pumped. And she walked out the door, and she said to her mother, 241, Mama. And that was the last time that her mother had saw her. And 241 was a code that they had that meant, I love you too much forever, once beyond forever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, sad now, Jesus, not very nice, but yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, they had their issues earlier in her high school area, but by the time she was a senior, they ironed it all out. So
nice.
She had a black mini skirt, black boots, and a Pantera shirt. She was ready to go.
She was ready for the concert. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. She met up with friends at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and then they all caravanned to Charlottesville, which was about 65 miles away. She'd been to that arena many times, and this trip was no different. The opening acts were Lamb of God and Gojira.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Gojira, man. I'm a fan. Sorry.
Yeah, I had to look that up because I was curious because none of the information said. I'm like, it was opening. I wonder who the opening act was.
That's a good concert, man. That's really
Yeah. But there were minutes away from Metallica taking the stage, and Morgan had to use the restroom. And she and her friends had floor seats, so Morgan had to go upstairs to use the restroom. And she tripped on the stairs, and she hurt her chin, likely from chin planting on the stairs, and it was bleeding.
Oh, fuck.
And she got to the bathroom. There happened to be a nurse there in the bathroom, and she asked if Morgan was okay. Morgan's like, yeah, I'm fine. But the nurse saw her blotting the cut and everything and said that she was acting funny. So it's likely that she had gotten a concussion and was disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow she wound up outside.
Okay.
And
like
if you've been to outside the
concert.
venue.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure I'm following right.
Yeah, and you know what? Unless you're at a club, if you go outside, you ain't getting back in.
No. Especially at a concert. Fuck that. I've had that argument.
Yep. Her ticket was with her friends, and the guards weren't letting her back in. It sucks, but the guards were just doing their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold outside, and her jacket was with her friends. She texted her friends saying that she couldn't get back in and that she would just find a way home. Like I said, she was disoriented. She could have just waited. Just wait. Concert will be over in a couple hours.
But like you said, disoriented and in the cold with no jacket. You're just thinking, I want to get home, get warm, get safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But people who did interact with her said that she was acting odd and even hostile, and I would be too if I didn't get to see Metallica because, I accidentally wound up outside.
Yeah,
but honestly,
I would be... Yeah.
Yes. But honestly, if she's got a concussion, the last thing she needs is super loud music.
Yes.
Because if that was just... She would have wound up with... like the mother of all headaches by the end of the show.
Well, I'm assuming just from the concussion, she probably was going to be rough anyway. Throw in like high decibels. Yeah, it's not going to help anything. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think I've gotten a concussion from a concert before, just from the level of, yeah.
I broke my hip in a mosh pit when I was 20.
Oof. I haven't had anything.
My
worst was because I'm Canadian.
Bad.
I had to go to a rock. Mm-hmm. How do you break your hip?
Say that again. You kind of cut out.
Oh, how do you break your hip and it's not bad? Oh, just cracked.
It was just cracked.
Still sounds bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It could. Well, my point is, it could have been a lot worse.
Fair enough.
But,
that's yeah.
And it hurts more now than it did back then.
Well, of course. I mean, 40s will do that, Yeah.
I'm 50.
I love that about aging. Well, there you go. Even better. I'm looking forward to it.
But she walked into the parking lot. She began hitchhiking. She was last seen on a bridge near the arena, and that bridge was near a staging area for taxi cabs, but put a knife in that.
Okay.
And just like that, Morgan vanished
Instead of a
and
pin?
didn't even get. Yeah, it's put a knife. This is a true crime. This is a true crime podcast. We put a knife in that.
Stab it. Fuck.
Yeah. I used to say put a pin in that, but I don't know. About a year ago, I switched it to put a knife in that.
It fits, like you said. Considering what we're doing, yep, stick a knife in it. Oh shit.
But just like that, Morgan vanished and didn't even get to see Metallica.
Goddamn.
Next morning, Morgan's father, Dan Harrington, got a call from the UVA police department saying that her purse had been found in the parking lot.
Oh shit, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, her mother Jill knew immediately that something bad had happened to Morgan.
Yeah.
And her cell phone had been found by a lacrosse field, which was across the way from the arena, and the SIM card had been taken out of the phone.
Oh shit! So it wasn't just like taken and thrown; they actually took the SIM card out.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Probably didn't have any fingerprints on it either. Yeah, if you're going to go through taking out the SIM card, you're going to wipe it down real good.
You would think so, but yeah, that's all very bad. Those are not signs you want to see.
No. Dan and Jill, her parents, they rushed to Charlottesville to the UVA PD. And search parties had been started up around the campus. The media had shown up. Morgan's parents addressed the media, and then tips began pouring in, but there was nothing, which is usually the case. Dan and Jill began relentlessly trying to find Morgan. They were staying on the media and police. They were holding their feet to the fire, and a $100,000 reward was raised through crowdfunding for information for her return. And Metallica even chipped in an additional $50,000.
I bet you Lars had nothing to do with that.
Actually, it was James.
Of course it was. He's the decent one.
James Hetfield made a video that was put on their website and released it on their socials and everything, asking, it's like, hey, if you've got any information, come forward, please. There's $150,000 on the table if you can help.
Seriously, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes me...
Well, you know what I mean. Like, a lot of bands would have just been like, yeah, whatever, we'll put up a reward, but to actually put a video on their website, that brings a lot of exposure. The
doc that I watched actually showed the video that he made, and it was cool. I mean, James Hetfield is a stand-up guy.
I mean, I like making fun of Metallica, but he's kind of like the one not to make fun of. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, no, James Hetfield's pretty cool.
Lars gets a bad rap.
Honestly, he does.
It's just fun to pick on him because he's such a dweeb.
He is, and another metal. Sorry, go ahead.
What I love is when you go on these Facebook threads about Metallica and people saying that. Jesus Christ!
I heard that. That's definitely you.
Yeah, storm coming.
Oh, yeah. We got some rain here too, so it's hard to tell.
That scared the shit out of me. I was not expecting that. But what the hell was I saying? You see these people on threads like trashing Lars, saying, "Oh, he sucks as a drummer." No, he doesn't. He does not suck as a drummer. Are there better drummers? Absolutely, but
Lars digression too. If you'll indulge me. Okay, there's a meme going around recently where it's basically the joke is going back in time and telling Cliff Burton to switch seats with Lars. So, he dies and... Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not making fun of Lars dying, but I'm just saying this. Had Lars Ulrich died in 1986, he would still be remembered as one of the best metal drummers around. Because
he would. Absolutely.
He was one of the only guys who could keep up that speed. If you listen, my big thing with 80s metal is a lot of the times the drummers are struggling to keep up. Lars didn't. He was on that beat. He did it well. If he would have died in 86, then he would have been remembered as one of the really creators, but he's regressed so much since the 90s that, I mean, he's made himself a joke.
Well, he would be revered as a drummer the way Cliff Burton's revered as a bass player.
I agree with that. Because at that time, like I say, he had the speed. He had some decent technique. He was a little sloppy, but for the time, he was very, very solid. It's pretty much post and Justice for All where you can really hear him digress. Like the Black Album, he's a lot simpler. Load is a terrible piece of shit. And then all that, and he just gets worse and worse. And then there's Saint Anger, which... Ooh, get your propane tank out and beat it. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my metal digression. If it had been Lars in 86, like you said, he would be looked at like Cliff Burton. Like, he was good and he died too young, but here he still is.
Right. Yeah. So, about a month later, a Pantera shirt was found draped on a bush. And the guy called the police about it, and the police took it in, and an officer said in an interview that he believed that putting the shirt out in the open like this was the killer taunting the police and letting the family know that she was dead, but he was still out there.
I mean, it's an odd place, you know. It's not where if you're trying to get rid of evidence, you don't just put it up in an obvious place.
No, that was
That's
basically
a statement.
yeah. But there was DNA in the shirt.
Okay.
And DNA was matched to the DNA of a brutal rape that had happened to a woman in Fairfax, Virginia back in September of 2005.
Oh, okay.
Still, it was a cold case because the criminal hadn't been caught on anything else. Yeah, he didn't. This DNA, this blood type, whatever, they didn't have anything on whoever this was. Well, we all know it was Jethy.
It was fucking Jethy, but I get you. At this point, they know these two crimes are connected, but they don't know who committed them.
Right.
Yeah. That's gotta be so fucking frustrating. Oh my god.
Yeah, the police work on this is incredible. But the woman who got raped was from India on a student visa, and she was out grocery shopping, and as she walked back to her apartment carrying a couple of bags, a man walked up to her. He tried to stop her to talk, and she just kept walking. You know, and he walked right up behind her, you know, talking shit, and she dropped her grocery bags and hauled ass. He followed her, he grabbed her, he carried her into a field, and he threw her to the ground, and he raped her while choking her at the same time.
Yeah.
And she fought him. And he told her that if she fought him, he'd break her neck. If she let him do what he was trying to do, he would let her go.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
Usually not.
A car just happened on the scene and caught the man and woman in its headlights, and the man took off running, and the woman was bruised, covered with blood. And if that car hadn't pulled up, she would probably be dead. She would probably be dead.
Yeah.
She tried to give the police a description, and he was an African-American man wearing khaki pants. And they were able to get a sketch, but it didn't turn up anything, and the case went cold rather quickly. Which is kind of strange considering once I start describing this guy later on.
A little distinctive?
Little is an understatement. This guy stuck out like an amputated thumb.
Oh,
Not a sore thumb, an amputated thumb.
I getcha.
January of 2010, Morgan was still missing. And after the shirt was found, women in the area were scared, looking over their shoulders, walking in groups, taking precaution and being safe. It kind of reminded me of the Danny Rolling situation at the University of Florida.
Yeah, it does.
But since it was quiet and nobody else had vanished, some people were thinking that it could have been a drifter. But the investigation wasn't going anywhere, and I think we need to add it's never a drifter to the book of things that it never is, like a mannequin.
It's never a fucking mannequin. That is a running joke between me and Gina, my wife. We say that to each other pretty much any time anything is like that. It's like, it's not a fucking mannequin. It's never a mannequin.
There's never a shortcut.
No, the shortcut's going to take longer.
There's never a... Well, yeah, because you're not going to get to your destination, because you're going to be dead.
Yeah, I know. Those are rules to live by.
There's more that I've come. It's never firecrackers going off.
No. That reminds me of when me and Gina were living in a very rural place in Nova Scotia in Canada, and every now and then around midnight, in the middle of the night, we would just hear chainsawing. This happened multiple times, and it was like, we didn't want to know what was being chainsawed. Yeah, it was scary, honestly. We still don't know what was being chainsawed.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can work in a you can work in a garage with a light on with like a handsaw or something like that, but you ain't doing anything in the dark with a chainsaw.
Well, that's just it too, and it didn't sound muffled at all. It sounded like it was in the open air. So yeah, it didn't sound like it was in a shed. It should have been in a shed. It wasn't.
It was the Marriotts and the Melvins.
I mean, it could have been a lot. A lot of weird stuff goes on, man. Like that I don't want to know about.
So on September 13th, 2014, Hannah Graham was starting her fall semester at University of Virginia, Charlottesville. She was a star softball player, a musician, great student, friendly. She was liked by everybody. She had a smile that would light up a room.
I feel like I recognize that name for some reason. Hannah Graham.
Hannah Graham? I don't know. You might think of Heather Graham, the actress.
No. Maybe. Shit. Yeah, you might be onto something there. Keep going. It might make sense, or I might have just mistaken her for the actress. Yes.
I found this podcast on one of the promotion Facebook pages. It's called Never Light Up a Room.
I've seen that one too. I haven't actually checked it out yet, but
I haven't either.
Name.
I love the name. Never Light Up a Room.
Absolutely. Yeah. In that sense, I will live forever. Yeah, fuck.
Damn. It's that time of year in Florida. The storm will be over in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the sun will come right back out, making it like the inside of a fucking steamer.
Oh, God, yeah. We've kind of got that here. We went from, I think it was 95 2 days ago, and today it's in the 60s, so.
Jeez.
And wet as hell. It's just gross, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, dog days of summer are here. Florida is nice and preheated and ready to go.
Just like an oven. Just sitting there, steaming with heat. Oh, waiting to cook you.
I was talking with Christy from Buried Motives. I've actually become really good friends with her. She lives up in Canada, somewhere on the western side. And
I'm not even aware of that one. Buried Motives? You said?
Yeah, they're really good.
I'm gonna jot that down. Sorry.
No, they're good. They're in my rotation that I listen to every single week. But
nice.
She was like joking with me one time, and she's like, you wouldn't be able to survive a winter up here. I'm like, well, you wouldn't be able to survive a summer down here. So there.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think you'd be fine. Honestly, Canadian winters, I mean, they're rough, but they're only really, really, really rough for about a month and a half. There's about 45 days where it's just like there's no sun, it's bitterly cold, and it sucks all the hope out of you. But after that, it's really not that bad.
Well, she lives over on the western side. You know, like closer. Well, she's about three or four. I think she's about 3 or 4 hours away from Vancouver.
Oh, so she's got the mild winter too. Because if you're in BC, it's much milder than a lot of like Canada.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, the more inland you go, just
she showed me a picture.
Gets, right? She
showed me a picture of the inside of her windows. Mm-hmm. There was ice forming on the inside of the windows.
Oh yeah. That happens nearly every winter here.
Yeah, y'all can keep that. I'll stick with my brutally hot summers down here that last forever, and yeah, I'll stick with that. I mean, it won't start cooling down here until probably like the middle of October. And yeah, even then, we're talking about.
That's what would kill me with Florida heat is that like we get heat here, but in the same way, it's only a month and a half where it's totally terrible. Like, it'll get into the 90s in Canada for like a month and a half straight, but then it stops. It's not like you said in October being like, why is the sun still trying to kill me? What is happening?
July and August, we're not even to the hottest time of year yet. July and August are our two hottest months.
Oh, yeah, no, I mentioned the running joke about it's never a mannequin with Gina. Another one we have is imagine being hungover in Miami in the summer.
Anywhere in Florida.
Well,
and
the
I know
reason
all
is,
about it.
we just rewatched Dexter, and there's one scene in particular where there's a very hungover character, and it's obviously very hot, and they show it very well, and it's like you can feel that scene, you can feel that man's pain. It seems awful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But anyway, hashtag. But I digress.
The big digress.
Yeah. But that night, September 13th, 2014, she got all dolled up. She was ready to go out and eat. And then she was going to go out on the town and party. She ate with some friends, had a few drinks. Then she went to a house party where she had a little too much to drink. And decided that she was going to go home because she wasn't feeling well. Yeah, and one friend offered to walk her home, but Hannah said that she was fine, but she wasn't fine. She was hammered. And she started walking off campus. And she started texting friends saying that she didn't know where she was. And she shows up on lots of surveillance cameras along the route that she took. But she was walking around in circles in front of a place called McGrady's Pub, and she tripped and fell on the sidewalk in the front of the bar, and the bouncer, he came out and helped her up and asked if she was okay. She said she was fine, and she kept walking, but honestly, I'm wondering if somebody slipped or something into her drink at that party.
I mean, to be that,
incoherent.
It can happen just, from liquor, but it usually takes time just from straight liquor to get that incoherent.
I really do think that somebody slipped something in her drink, but that's just that wasn't mentioned anywhere. That's just my thought. That's just, the way it was described, how she was walking and stuff, and you could even see her on some, and the doc, you could see her on some of these camera footage. You can see the reels.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't know where she was, and it's just, somebody roofied her, I think.
Yeah, that seems more than Plus, I mean, if there's video footage too, that can be very telling that person's not right on their feet.
Mm-hmm. But if you're shit-faced, you're going to be like weaving back and forth, staggering and stuff like that. She wasn't staggering. Mm-hmm. She was, she would stumble every now and then, but she was just kind of, looking like she was in a daze. She wasn't acting like somebody that was just totally schnockered. She was acting like, like she was drugged.
It just seemed more off than just drunk.
Yeah.
I get you.
Because if you're totally schnockered on liquor or whatever, and you it's going to be obvious because you're going to be zigzagging. You're going to be zigzagging like a freaking ship in World War II. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to keep falling repeatedly and stuff like that. She only fell once. And she was pretty much walking kind of mostly in a straight line. Yeah, mostly. So that's not schnockered. That's drugged.
It looks different than liquor.
Yeah. But I can't believe nobody that in the documentaries nobody mentioned that, because I'm thinking there were 2 crimes committed that night.
Yeah. Yeah, one leading to another probably.
Yeah, it wasn't Jethy. It wasn't him. He would have stuck out like a sore thumb if he had been at that party. So
that guy.
It wasn't him that drugged her drink. That would have been somebody else. But
okay.
But next she shows up on camera at a gas station, and she was running. Once again, if you're schnockered, you ain't running anywhere.
You are absolutely not. Or if you are, it's funny.
Yeah. Now you can see her on camera. She's running. Sure, she's an athlete. She's in great shape. But still, if you're schnockered, if you start running, you're going to wind up doubled over, puking on the ground.
Yeah, I've done it. I'm not even an athlete, but I've done that.
So she texted her friends saying that she was lost, and the downtown area that she was in was called Downtown Mall. And this is about 2 miles away from the UVA campus. So she lived on campus. So she
made it quite a ways.
Yeah. Another thing that points to she was not schnockered.
Seriously, though.
Foul play was suspected, and the media pounced on it because she wasn't the type to just disappear like that. Search parties were organized, including the police and the bloodhounds, like the one that you've got in your apartment. And her parents soon arrived and did interviews on TV pleading for her return, and obviously the students on campus were all on edge. Rock star police chief Tim Longo got on TV vowing to find Hannah as well as the person who took her. And nobody knew if this was random, and they hadn't connected it to Morgan Harrington yet. And why would they? I mean, this was 5 years later. Nothing like this had happened since, not to mention the transient nature of college towns.
Yeah, really, though. 5 years, that's a full turnover. Like,
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Every single student and probably a handful of the faculty that was there when Morgan was killed was gone. So, but it wouldn't be too long before the media started wondering if the two cases were related. Every now and then the media does good things.
Oh man, we mentioned a lot on Mental Illness Theater, the podcast I do with Gina, that sometimes, man, the press, it's the only thing that keeps things going. That they just won't give up, and other times the press will do nothing. It's very strange, and especially American, man, you guys are so much better than we are in Canada about keeping pressure on crime sometimes through the media. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, but most of the time, media is now just a tabloid. You know, it's just finding good investigative journalism is the exception and not the rule anymore.
Well, I'm sure from having done this as long as you have, just like I have, you've noticed that, like, when you do something more recent, the articles all seem to repeat themselves, and there'll be like this little bit added. Whereas if you do a case from the 70s, every article has new information. It's not just rehashing this. They're expecting you to be read to that point and then continue it. And honestly, it makes it a lot easier to do what we do.
Yeah. But I was surprised I mean, some of these articles that we find, it's just like, you know, it's like you go looking for something on, I don't know, well, hell, Jethy. Jethy Map.
Poor Jethy.
You find, oh, here's an article, and it's just like 3 sentences.
Yeah. All the time. I find that so often. Yep.
It's infuriating. But 5 days after Hannah vanished, a vigil was held on campus. Hundreds of people showed up. They spoke and they sang songs and they cried together. People talked and everything. Kind of reminded me of there's video of it too. Kind of reminded me of what went on downtown East Side in Vancouver when everybody did that rally.
Yeah.
I said in our series on Picton, it's like, if I had lived there, I probably would have been at that rally too.
I mean, when you're up to 64 victims, you know.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. But all of a sudden, new camera footage was released. It showed a man following Hannah as she walked through the city.
Oh, shit.
It was a black man with long dreadlocks and a white suit, and he was stalking Hannah.
Goddamn. Sorry about the dog, but man, that description, I saw it. I saw it in my head. It's like, oh yeah, no, he's distinctive.
Yeah. Not to mention he's like 6'6" or something like that.
Oh,
all
shit.
Muscle.
That does not, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if he had been at that party, people, Jesus.
I know, fuck. 6'6", fully muscled, white suit, dreadlocks. Fuck. What else could he do? Wear a top hat on top of it and a fucking monocle? Jesus Christ, like... I mean, there's peacocking, and then there's just, hey.
But he was stalking Hannah. He matched her pace, keeping about the same amount of distance between them. And this man had been seen over the hours leading up to this in the bars drinking. And he's a happy and jovial guy. He'd talk to anybody, and he was a little handsy on the handsy side with the girls. And no, it was not Yankee Doodle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would the girls be handy? You know. Okay. No. I thought it was funny,
though, if someone's being handsy at the bar.
Yeah. He was at one bar where he walked up behind a woman and scooped her up behind, from behind, and was dancing with her, but her feet were not on the floor. She obviously didn't like it and demanded...
literally.
Yeah, literally. She obviously didn't like it and demanded that he put her down. She and her friend left that bar and went to another one where they kept dancing. And she sat down for a while and took her boots off because they were hurting. This dude had followed them to this other bar that they went. And as soon as she sat down and took off her boots, this man runs up and starts rubbing her feet, uninvited.
Okay, that's worse than being a little handsy.
Yeah. She freaked out and told... Yeah, that's the... Well, scooping her up... They both crossed the line. Scooping her up from behind like that,
Yeah.
And then coming up and rubbing... But rubbing the feet is like... that's like... That is an invasion of privacy. Well, I guess scooping up from behind is too.
Yeah. It's a bigger one, though, I agree.
Yeah, it just seems like that's more of a violation when you just grab this woman's bare feet and start rubbing them. That's that's borderline sexual assault.
I don't like it in any way. I know that.
No.
Nope.
I would have hated to have been that girl's boyfriend, though.
I'm getting beat up tonight is what's happening.
I'm getting my ass kicked.
Taking one for the team. All right. Love you, baby. Call the fucking ambulance. Doing this.
Yeah, I'm going to need one real quick after.
Oh, this is going to be quick and fucking brutal. Woo.
Oh, he was a defensive lineman in college football, too.
Even fucking better. I mean, some guys can be big and not athletic, but great. No, he's been trained to fucking run through people. Awesome. That's exactly what I want to deal with.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yep.
Honey, aren't you going to do anything about this?
Nope.
Nope. Enjoy the foot massage, honey. People pay good money for that.
Yeah. I think it just hit me, but it's over. Bye.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I'm single again.
Oh, God, yeah. I've honestly only ever had that once. Just complete digression. I was at a bar. I ran into an ex. We were dancing. She said nothing. And then after the song, she was like, "Do you want to meet my boyfriend?" I was like, oh, this is bad. And I'm not a small dude, 5'10", 5'11", at the time I'm like 180. And I walked up to this guy, and fuck, man, it was just like, Man Mountain, wonderful. And I stuck my hand out to shake it, thinking, what else can I do? And he just glared at me, and I was like, oh, good, I'm gonna die. Fuck.
And I would have been like, she wanted me to meet you. Sir?
I didn't say anything. Like I said, I stuck my hand out. He glared at me, and I was like, all right, see you later. And I avoided her for the rest of the night, and he let me live. So I was very happy with that outcome.
Yeah, that's a good outcome.
Oh, I was fine with it, because he was best.
Luckily, this girl didn't have a boyfriend with her.
I mean, I didn't know. But anyway, that quick digression about very large, scary people.
But, yeah, she obviously freaked out, and then the man told her that any woman who takes care of her feet takes care of everything else, whatever the fuck that means.
I've been a little sick lately, and that actually rolled my stomach. Oh, fuck.
I don't know. What does that even mean?
I It's gross. You know it's going to be gross and sexual.
Well, yeah, he's obviously sizing her up because he plans on raping her.
Oh, fuck. And he knows it's clean, so... But I need to take a shower now. Fuck.
The bar employees told the man to leave, and he did. And as he did, he was saying hi to everybody he encountered. And this is when he fixated on Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
He finally, after stalking her, I guess sizing her up, making sure that nobody was going to join her, he finally walked up next to her, put his arm around her like he knew her.
Mm-hmm.
Another woman was watching Hannah, watching him stalk Hannah, and she runs up. She's like, "You don't even know her." And
I like that girl.
Yeah, I do too. But the man just looked at her and said, "Hush."
Yeah.
That's not nefarious.
No, not at all. But what are you supposed to do against 6'6" Man Mountain too, right? Like,
yeah. So they went. The two of them, the man and Hannah, walked into a bar, and he orders 2 drinks, one for her, one for him. And the person who had confronted him followed them into a bar, and she's watching. And another woman reportedly said, "He's going to fuck her up tonight."
Oh, you said ominous before. That's the most ominous. When a stranger's just like, "Oh yeah, this is a bad situation."
Yeah, but nobody called the police. Nobody reported it.
I get it too, though. You're dealing with people in their 20s out drinking. I remember being that age and just not wanting to deal with things.
Yeah, but if I'm looking at this tiny woman with this huge hulk of a man who just kind of randomly walked up and just like, "Hey," out of the blue, and it bugs me to the point to where I walk up and say, "Hey, you don't even know her. Leave her the fuck alone." Say something.
Bar staff involved. You know what I mean? Like, I can see not wanting to call the cops, I guess is what I'm saying. But yeah, you should definitely be going to staff and being like, because this is in the bar, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they met on the street. They met on the street, then they went into a bar.
Okay, so they're in a bar, there's staff and whatnot. This is definitely one of those, like, yeah, I get it if you don't want to call the police, but go to a staff member and be like, "Yeah, this is a bad situation. I think this woman is in danger from this dude." Yeah. To notice it and not do anything is kind of,
But one more person saw Hannah alive and watched the two of them get into a car together as he was walking by. And as he was walking by, he heard Hannah say, "What? You sure this car isn't stolen?" Just. But she got in the car anyway.
Just,
No, they just. I got a hot little woman.
No problem. Get in there
with me. Yeah. But by this time,
this is all fine.
By this time, she probably was schnockered. Yeah, but I don't like this guy.
Oh God, no!
But
I hate them all.
But due to the new videos and the witnesses who came forward when they were released, the police had I lost my spot.
That's right.
The police had a person of interest, Jesse Matthew Jr.
Oh, so they got the right guy.
Yeah. And one cop at the police station had even gone to school with Jesse.
I always love it when that happens. Hey, what's going on? How have you been doing since 8th grade? Well, I mean, fucking here I am. Here you are. Not great.
Of course, because of Matthew's jovial and teddy bear / gentle giant personality, some people believe that they had the wrong guy.
I mean,
you obviously didn't see him like rubbing this woman's feet.
Yeah, that would have done it for me. I would have been like, "Yeah, no, I get it. He's nice and he can hold the conversation." But did you see him with her feet?
And her saying, "Get the fuck off of me, creep."
Oh man, yeah, I don't like him either.
He was very tall, well-built, played football at Liberty University, but he didn't stay there very long because he was accused of raping a woman. Liberty is a strict... Yeah, Liberty's a strict Christian school university that was started by Jerry Falwell.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Okay. Digression again. The Jerry Falwell fake letter and hustler from the late 70s or 80s is one of the funniest fucking things you can possibly find. You know what I'm talking? Thank God. Holy shit. Man, I swear to God, I almost pissed myself the first time I read that. I was dying so hard.
Yeah. all those politicians. We're going to cover Westboro Baptist Church at some point.
they're just why, man? Why? Fuck.
But the woman didn't press charges, but he did leave Liberty. And the date of the accusation? October 17th, 2002, right around fall semester.
Okay.
But, I mean, he was enrolled there, but still, he still knew the schedules.
When does fall semester start in the States? Just want to know if it's different in Canada, because we usually start
October.
Very early September. Okay, October. We start early September. That's why I was a little, yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, anytime during that time frame, even when it has started, you know, if you're doing what you're doing, like in the beginning of it, you still got people that don't know the layout, don't know the lay of the land, don't know where safe places are and stuff like that. You still got that, even if everybody that's going to be there is there, you know.
Oh yeah, it takes a while to figure out those places, and you know the campus itself. Yeah.
But we're going to talk about some of these disappearances, and we're going to highlight the dates.
Okay.
He then went to Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia, and the same thing happened there. And he bounced and nothing happened to him, and the woman was never identified. This was late September of 2003. But earlier that year, September 7th, which is my birthday, 31-year-old Sophie Rivera disappeared. She was never found. She was 5'4", 105 pounds.
That's quite a bit different than, what was he, 6'6", something?
Yeah, but all of his victims were tiny. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
But still, I mean, it's just. But this one, she's 31. She's considerably older than his victim. But still, it's just, you know, he was there within, you know, within a week or two of, you know. I mean, that rape was late in September. This was September 7th.
Yeah. So. The right time.
Jesse went back to Charlottesville feeling bulletproof, and he got a job. And take a guess what that job was.
Jesus. Is it going to make sense, or is this just like, oh my God?
It's going to make sense. Think back to Morgan. Think back to when Morgan disappeared.
I don't really know.
Cab driver.
Cab driver. God damn it. You did put that out there. I completely missed it. Shit, so now he's got a cab.
Yeah, and she disappeared. You know, she was like last seen near a staging area for taxi cabs.
Yeah. Which makes it so much easier, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
But he had been a cab driver since 2007, and yeah, and at that point, he bounced. Nobody knew where he was after Hannah disappeared.
So that's kind of his thing too. Do an attack and then just kind of leave the area.
But this is so weird. What's coming up next? It's important to talk about Jesse in the context that he was literally ruled by a bright side and a dark side. His friends called him the Godfather. he would drop everything he was doing to help out a friend or even a stranger. He would watch his friends' kids for free when they went to work or to run errands. He was such a good guy that people would entrust them with their children. Doesn't say anything about their teenage daughters. But
well, yeah, I would avoid that, seeing how this turns out. But, I mean, maybe he is fine with kids. I mean, I say this one a lot. No, actually, I'm not going to say it. But, I mean, people can have different sides. That's all I'm saying. You're still kind of sexually assaulty and a little too murdery for me, but...
Yeah, but this type of predator is literally the scariest because like BTK was a dweeb with a god complex, and while not a lot of people liked him, nobody had pegged him as a serial killer. But when it was revealed that he was, nobody was really surprised, except for his family and some people at his church. Although, as we said in one of our unoriginal updates, his daughter recently discovered. His daughter recently discovered that he had molested her as a toddler, and
oh god, that makes sense though with him.
Yeah, it does. But Jesse was a real life Jekyll and Hyde.
So he's got the two sides,
of what?
like. So he's got the two sides.
Jekyll and Hyde?
It depends which side's coming. Yeah.
No. He compartmentalizes the dark side. He only lets it out when he wants to. This isn't somebody that just goes into a fucking frenzy and just has to do it. Like goes into a berserker mode. This is somebody just like, you know what? I think I'll kill somebody today. I think I'll rape somebody today.
But isn't that like most of them? Like honestly, I find having done so many, the very, very, very rare is someone actually has a compulsion unless there's a mental illness involved. Usually there's a decision there that like, man, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah. But
maybe he was just better at covering it and had that social side so fewer people would think.
Compartmentalization. BTK did the same thing. But it's just, this is more of an extreme than BTK because BTK wasn't a likable guy.
I get you.
Yeah, but Jesse was a real life Jekyll and Hyde. Good Jesse punches his time card, and bad Jesse clocks in. So, let's take a look at Jesse. He had problems learning to read. He had a bad stutter. He was abused physically and sexually as a kid, and he also was bullied as a child. But all of that kind of stopped as he grew into his well-built giant of a teenager, kind of like Otis Toole.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's a time to pick on the kid, and then all of a sudden that kid is, oh shit, we're not going to pick on him anymore.
Yeah, and his father was a convicted rapist.
Not good. That's a bad start.
But none of these things were dealt with. He just buried them deep in his brains where the demons festered. As he got older, they began to manifest in his life, and before too long he had a split personality and began to act on his demons.
Split personality, absolutely not. We're having a digression.
Well, I don't mean split personality where. Well, okay.
Nobody has a split personality.
Yeah, I said, good Jesse punched his time card, bad Jesse clocks in, but okay, it wasn't like that. This guy, he's a great guy. He just has a hobby that lots of people would consider undesirable.
I get you, but I mean, split person. I have real trouble with even that terminology because it never is. It's just to take it that way, Bill. There's a good Bill and there's a bad Bill. There's a good Mark and there's a bad Mark. So if we're going that way, everybody has a split personality. Everyone has the capabilities of both. And like I'm saying, decisions are made. He decides to go into that bar and rub that woman's feet. He decides to grab that woman in the cab and drive. You know what I mean? Like, It's just split personality. I can't see it. It's all one person, and he's a piece of shit. Whether he's good, I'm sorry, but the rapist murderer outweighs everything at a certain point. You know what I mean? It's just like someone could be, I'm going to say it wrong because I always say it the British way, but a pedophile. And they could be the greatest fucking person, but I don't care. You fuck children. Right. That's where the conversation starts. You could have you could have fucking cured cancer, but guess what? You're a pedophile, and that leads everything and outweighs everything. And sorry, just to rant here, but that's how I see that. That's great that he's great with kids, but in the end, he stalked, raped, and killed women. So he could be a great worker. He could be wonderful with kids. He could be a wonderful football player. Yeah. In the end, he's not, though.
I have a friend who he was actually the first person that I asked about when I was going to start CKCB before Todd. Todd, yeah, but he plays like death metal and stuff like that and everything, and he does these. He's known for he's actually one of these people that's gutted himself on stage, and but. He worked at a freaking daycare for about 5 years when he was younger, and he's really great with kids and all that stuff. I mean, he's not a killer, he's not a rapist or anything like that, but it's just if the people who were dropping their kids off at that daycare saw him on stage, they might be like, I'm gonna look into the daycare down the street.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's kind of what I'm saying. People have lots of different sides. So,
but he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah, but that's metal people for the most part, right? We just look scary and whatnot. We're actually harmless,
right? Yeah, you say that on the one episode where I'm not wearing a black shirt. I think it's the only shirt that I have that's not black. No, I've got a gray one too. I have a gray shirt too. All the rest are black.
I know what you mean, though. I know all my non-black shirts specifically because it's those are the simple ones. They're not like everyone else. Yeah.
This was probably the most comfortable shirt that I own. I mean, there were ways out for him, like football, for example, but his demons ruined that for him. He could have been one hell of a defensive lineman in the NFL, but his urge to rape took over. But when he returned to Charlottesville and got a job as a taxi driver,
How many football players have made it from Pat Robertson University to the NFL?
Liberty. It was Liberty. But
Liberty?
Yeah,
I gotta look that up now. Sorry, digression.
Now, several. Yeah, I can't name names, but I have seen that come up with like teams' draft picks.
Oh yeah,
where they came from. Liberty University. I mean, it's not like a breeding ground like say Alabama or LSU or Florida State or University of Florida or whatever. It's not nothing like that. But
I get you. But it's produced
every now and then. I mean, hell. Terrell Owens went to a really small college in Chattanooga. I can't remember the name.
One of my favorites.
Middle Tennessee State University. Terrell Owens.
Jerome Pathon, who played for the Saints, played for fucking Saint FX in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. So go figure, right? Yeah.
But
no, shit. Anyway.
But he got a job as the cab driver, but he was also an assistant coach for a high school football team where he was very good with the kids on the team.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But in the years between the rape in 2005, where he was scared off, and Morgan Harrington in 2009, he was never charged with anything. Oh, he was never charged with anything, period. Whether he did attack others in that time, only he and the victims, if there are any, know for sure. But on October 10th, 2009, 23-year-old Cassandra Morton disappeared from a Lynchburg, Virginia neighborhood. This was 7 days before Morgan Harrison disappeared. You know what else is in you know,
You almost had it.
I haven't gotten this. I think this is the first time I've gotten tongue-tied in this episode. No, I think I did it once before, but still, that's only 2. But you know what else is in Lynchburg? Liberty University.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
About 65, 70 miles from Charlottesville, and on November 30th, 2009, she was found on Candler's Mountain near Liberty University. And her murder has never been solved. Candler's Mountain is an iconic location because on one side of it, next to the interstate, there's cleared lands with only the letters L-U made out with like huge shrubs and everything. Yeah, well,
Liberty University.
Yeah. I mean, it's iconic. I've seen it. I've driven right by it. On WFTR.com, there's an article that lists lots of the missing women's details. I mean, Jessie was known to have been near the areas where they went missing at the time that they went missing. Still, after he was arrested, nobody came forward, but there's many unsolved missing girl cases in and around Virginia college campuses during that time period that Jessie became an adult and the time that he was arrested, specifically at Liberty University and Christopher Newport University.
It's the two that he would too.
Yeah. And it's not known if he's connected to any of these disappearances, obviously, because they're unsolved. But also, between 2009 and 2013, Harrington, when Harrington and Graham disappeared, or Jessie was in a relationship which ended in September of 2013. So he was out in the town having fun, looking for rebound rapes.
Oh, fuck, there's a phrase.
Yeah. And maybe looking for a murder too. Although,
you gotta get over people, right? It's tough. Fuck.
Matthew, Jessica, and I, on our last episode, came up with a replacement for the Peeping Tom, because Peeping Tom just sounds so cute and innocent. We came up with Jerking John.
Yeah. I just go potential rapist, because we know what's coming.
I like it. I like Jerking John, and at this point, from this point on, whenever there's a Peeping Tom on any episode that we cover, it's going to be Jerking John.
See,
so
like
back to January of 2010.
Yeah.
I won't forget. I'm like a freaking elephant. I've got a picture perfect photographic memory. But
I smoke a lot of weed, so.
I drink a lot of beer. But so back to January of 2010, 101 days after Morgan had disappeared, soon after her Pantera shirt was found, a farmer was out on his property and found what he thought was, take a guess?
A mannequin.
No, but a deer carcass.
No.
Same thing.
Oh. It's never a deer carcass.
Well, it's more likely a deer carcass than a mannequin.
That is very true. Yes. Yep.
But he realized it was a human skeleton. And it had been there all along on the far edge of this man's property, but it had been covered up by snow.
And it's a big farm, I'm sure. Yeah, It's winter. He's not going out, trekking out every bit of his farm in the middle of winter.
Right. So the autopsy revealed that Morgan had either fought her killer or he just beat her to death. There were fractures in her wrist, a couple broken ribs, and her skull had been cracked and teeth had even been knocked out.
Shit.
And I'd like to think that she gave him hell, but she was 5'6", 120 pounds, and Jesse was like 6'6", like 240, 250.
Defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was mostly muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But the DNA that was found on the Pantera shirt that I mentioned wasn't semen. It was blood. And it was Jesse's blood. It wasn't Morgan's blood. It was Jesse's blood. So she did
put up a fight.
She did fight his stupid ass. She hurt him.
Yeah, and you mentioned too, this is beating, so he didn't have any, like, he's not stabbing, he doesn't have a knife where he could potentially cut himself. It's pretty hard to cut. I mean, you kind of bet you can rack up your knuckles, but it's not the same, right? Like, that makes it sound like she put up.
Yeah, it's not like when you're stabbing somebody, you hit their sternum and your hand slides down the blade.
Sounds like you're talking from experience, Bill.
I am. On a case that we covered. David Carpenter, the trail size killer.
Okay, fair enough. But still, that sounded a little firsthand there. Like, no, when you jam it into their sternum, the knife slips.
I did that on purpose.
You did it well. But no, I mean, it's true. Lots of times with the stabbing, with all the blood and the frenzy, the stabber themselves gets cut. It's a lot more difficult when you're swinging. Just fists.
Right.
Yeah. Well, good for her for putting up a fight and drawing blood.
Absolutely. So now back to 2000, but he still hasn't been arrested. They don't have his blood type. They don't have his DNA. They've got nothing. So, back to 2014. Jesse had been listed as a person of interest, and like I said earlier, he had bounced. None of his friends or family knew where he was, but a week later, out of the blue, he just walks into the police station and asks for a lawyer. He was...
I'm sorry, I just did not see that coming.
I didn't either. I was just like, I was like writing the notes. I got to that part, I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, fuck. He just walked in. It's like, yeah, you're looking for me? Fuck, yes?
He wasn't even under arrest at that point. He just walked in and he said, I'm Jesse Matthew and I want a lawyer.
God damn.
So he was given one. And they went, this lawyer went, yeah, here you go. They went into a room together, and when they came out, what do you think the attorney said? Take a guess.
I don't really know. I have no idea what they're going to work with here. Wasn't me.
He said, my client doesn't have anything to say, and he and Jesse left the police station.
I mean, that sounds like a proper lawyer.
So the police... the police followed him when he left, and why wouldn't they? I mean, you basically just told the police without telling the police that you were guilty.
Like, seriously, like, look at it from their perspective. This man they were looking for just walked into the police station
after he had bounced for a week.
Exactly. Identified himself, said, I want a lawyer. The lawyer said, my client has nothing to say, and walked out. That's very, very, very odd.
Suspicious.
Like, you don't have to be a very good police officer to be like, follow him.
Right. So, but get this. Jesse jumped into his car and sped off, driving recklessly, breaking the speed limit. So he was pulled over and arrested for reckless driving.
Well, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing, man?
I know. It's just like, you just set up the bat signal, but instead of the Batman logo, it says, I'm a killer, or I'm a rapist.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that is some dumb behavior. That is impressively dumb. That could be the dumbest I've heard, honestly.
I know, that's what I was thinking, too. It's just like, God damn, it's just... That's like up there with BTK and the floppy disk.
You can't trace this, can you? No, man, no, it's fucking fine. Are you serious? This fucking wiener human is just... He sent the floppy disk. Fucking hell.
It's good. It's gold. This is one of the most fascinating cases that I've ever done. Just because of just with all the mystery and everything leading up to it. Like in the beginning, followed by the utter stupidity of this guy.
Yeah, seriously though.
But with Jesse in custody, police obtained a search warrant for his apartment. Lots of items were seized, and they were obviously going to run DNA. Jesse posted bail, but the police tailed him. One night, they watched as he left a family member's house, and Jesse was able to shake him, and the police had lost him. At that point, an arrest warrant was issued for Jesse, but he had bounced yet again. Part of the reason why the sketch that was made back in 2005 wasn't producing any tips was because at the time Jesse had very short hair. Now he had long dreadlocks, but somebody put a sketch of Jesse side by side with the current mugshot, and the face was the same. It's just like, got him. This is him. Just it blows my mind how these sketch artists can just, can draw the guy with just based on, somebody just seeing the guy for, under duress or just for a second, minute or two. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When I was at CrimeCon last year, they had this guy set up, and what he had done was, I don't know exactly how they got this description, but somehow they had gotten a description of the of somebody, that maybe somebody had a picture in their phone of somebody that they knew, and they described the picture, and they're like, come back in a couple hours, and when they came back, they had made a clay sculpture that looked just like the fucking picture.
Oh, Jesus.
And they hadn't even seen the picture.
Yeah, holy shit.
They hadn't even seen the picture. They were going off of a description, by some random person. And it's just like, holy shit!
Yeah, no, sometimes they're incredibly good, and then sometimes you just wonder, like, have you ever drawn before? Because...
like the description... Yeah, I mentioned David Carpenter, the Trailside Killer, earlier. Like, the first sketch that came out of him, he looked just like Kylo Ren from the Star Wars sequels. That is not what he looked like.
No.
But that's a crazy case too. You might want to look into it. David Carpenter, Trailside Killer.
Yeah, I've looked into him. Have you guys put that one out yet?
Yeah, that was like last year.
How long ago? Okay, last year.
Yeah.
I probably listened to it then because it rings a bell.
He was in the interrogation room, and he got up and started doing ballet.
Oh, Jesus. That's a good... the fuck, man. The fuck is this guy doing?
David Carpenter, not Jethy.
No, I get you. I'm imagining the police officer looking at that, being like,
what the fuck
okay,
are you doing?
This day just got fucking weird.
Yeah, that was a really good case. So a nationwide manhunt was put out for Jesse, and the FBI got involved too because everybody figured that he was no longer in Virginia.
I mean, and that makes sense. You would assume you run from Virginia. You can get to a lot of places from Virginia, man. Like, it's central.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're only a couple away. You're only about 6-7 hours from New York City. You go to New York City.
Stuck in Florida, right?
Yeah. He didn't go to Florida, though. He didn't go to New York City. He went to Texas.
Not the place I would go if I was a criminal on the run. Just putting that out there.
I know.
No, shit, no.
2 days later, a woman named Karen Monk was in Galveston, Texas, walking her dog along the beach. And she had her car on the beach. And apparently you can drive on Galveston Beach just like you can in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay.
So she had gone back to her car, and when another car pulled up next to her, and its driver was a large black man with long dreadlocks, and he looked right at Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Karen recognized him from the picture in the news. So the man drove away, and she looked up his picture on her phone, and it was Jesse.
So there he is.
So Karen called Crime Stoppers and reported that she had seen Jesse Matthew, but this is Texas, and Crime Stoppers didn't believe her.
They can do that? They can just say, we don't fucking believe you?
They said that, they said that this man wasn't being looked for in Texas. But I'll get to that in a minute. But I got to tell you a little bit about what I found out about Crime Stoppers. But Crime Stoppers isn't a nationwide organization. Each state runs its own branch, and this is something that I learned when I was researching our episode 66, the episode on the murder of Katrina Mowry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Crime Stoppers is their own little individual outfits.
Okay.
Which is crazy to think of, but
Yeah,
but
that's wild.
yeah, like for example, I called up Crime Stoppers in Orlando, and I was just because with that case it's like, okay, Dallas. Well, that case gave birth to Dick Darwin, and if you're familiar with my podcast, Dick Darwin is the embodiment of bad police work.
Yes, he is.
But I thought about doing one just for this situation right here with Crime Stoppers, but there wasn't enough there. I tried, it wasn't happening. But
That's not quite police, right? It's just outside.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, but I called up, because I was pretty deeply involved with that case during that time, and so I called up Crime Stoppers here in Orlando, and they flat out told me, it's just like, well, it's state to state Crime Stoppers. So I was like, whoa, that's weird.
Good to know.
Yeah. So Crime Stoppers said that this man wasn't being looked for in Texas, and Karen said, yes, he is. He's here. He was looking at me. That reminded me of that scene in Ghostbusters where it's like, is he there? Yes, he is. Yes, Egon, he is there. He is looking at me. That's what that reminded me of. So she called the local sheriff's office, and she told them that there was a wanted criminal there on the beach. They told her to meet them at a fruit stand nearby. And when she went there, finally after 45 minutes, a police officer showed up, and Karen gave the description of the car as well as of Jesse. And the cop radioed in for backup, and one was there within minutes, and it's like, okay, if one got there within minutes, why did she have to wait 45 minutes? But whatever.
Yeah, that's a good question, though.
Yeah. So they searched the beach, they found Jesse, who was still on the beach, and they arrested him.
And he's just hanging out there.
He's just hanging out. He's probably looking for another tiny little white woman to rape.
Yeah. He's not a nice guy.
So he was then extradited back to Virginia, and when he was brought in for a hearing, he complained about his prison scrubs and that the bed in the holding cell was uncomfortable.
Oh, the bed. It's not comfortable enough. Fucking Jesus. Seriously, man?
Yeah. There's actually video of it. He's just like, man, I mean, my clothes, man, I don't like them. And my bed, there's actually video of this.
I don't like them. Oh, man. Because, like, I recently did a case, and like there's one part where the guy is in jail and he complains about it being 190 degrees in the summer. That's a legitimate complaint.
That is.
Even if you're a prisoner, that's legitimate. I don't like my clothes? Oh, fuck, I could care less. Like, no,
Well, you want
man, that is...
You want us to bring in a tailor?
Seriously though, like fucking hell, man.
Yeah, have a put together a nice big suit for you, and
That is insane. I don't like my clothes. My bed's uncomfortable. Those are not real concerns for me.
no,
Come
I
on.
mean this guy's in no danger of becoming somebody's bitch, but still.
I don't know, man. I don't want to spend any time in prison to find out how that works out. That's all I know.
No, if somebody
Yeah.
comes at him, he's gonna whoop the damn ass. That's all I'm saying.
A lot of scary people in prison. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Like 6'6" and whatnot. That's good. I'm sure there are other people 6'6" in there who also play defensive linemen who might find him cute.
Maybe. got that sexy long hair there with those dreadlocks.
I mean, that could be enough. It's a prison situation. There's not much to work with.
You want a 5-star hotel room? Go to Sweden and get life in prison there.
I mean, I've thought about it as a retirement plan. Seriously, like, yeah, no, that looks okay. I can do this. How bad of a crime do I have to do? Sorry, Sweden. Nothing against you, but just, looking good these days.
But this is the U.S. of A., and here we treat criminals, well, like criminals.
We do too in Canada.
The DNA...
Yeah.
The DNA results from Jesse came back, and they matched the DNA on Morgan and the rate from 2005. You're done, Jesse. Do not pass go.
Yeah.
Do not collect $200. You are done.
Yeah, that's the fucked moment. You fucked around, and now you're finding out.
Yep. I hate him, but I love the story.
Yeah, no, it's a good story, and it's wild. Like,
And we ain't
I can't
done yet.
believe he walked into a police station and then walked out and then went on the run and made it halfway across the country. That's fuck. Didn't see that coming.
But they still didn't have Hannah's body. On October 25th, 2014, Hannah had been gone for 42 days, and Jesse wasn't talking. And if he was probably complaining about the jail not having Sunday NFL ticket and a sports bar.
Seriously though, man, this is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's just me making a joke. But still, if he's got a bitch about his prison scrubs, yeah.
He could be the type of guy I could see being like, well, we only get one football game that we can watch on Sunday. Like, where's the choice?
Yeah,
and
and
it's like, dude, once again,
I don't even like the Panthers or the Ravens because those are the closest one to Virginia. But
exactly.
the Redskins. I mean, back then it was the Redskins. The Redskins would have been the closest team.
Still, Baltimore's pretty close.
Yeah, but still.
Close enough to root for, right?
Well, one's the Redskins are AFC or NFC. The Baltimore Ravens are NFC. I got that backwards. The Redskins are damn it! The Redskins are NFC. The Ravens are AFC, and so they probably would have gotten both of those teams' games.
Okay.
But if you're not a fan of either one of them, I mean, damn.
Yeah, right.
I like the Raiders, man.
I was a Seahawks fan, so, and I'm in Eastern Canada, so it made no sense.
But that morning, the police discovered human remains in some woods in a creek bed, not even 5 miles from where Morgan had been found. Rockstar Chief Tim Longo called Hannah's parents and addressed the press and told everybody that Hannah had been found. And he had vowed to find her, and he did, but obviously he was choked up about it.
Yeah, not the way you want it to find her.
Right. Hannah had the same types of signs of defensive wounds, and she had apparently fought Jesse as well, but that's just what they said. I mean, there's no DNA on anything like there was with Morgan.
Yeah.
So it's just I hate to be an ass like this, but I think with Hannah it was just kind of like hopeful thinking,
Yeah.
like kind of like the, in our Gertrude Baniszewski episode, I kind of like made it out like that, it was embellishment, but I kind of made out like Sylvia was defiant like Gertrude
Yeah.
never broke her. And I want that to be truth. I want that to be the truth, but I don't. It probably isn't. You know,
Yeah.
it's probably the
Oh,
same.
yeah.
Probably the same thing here, unfortunately. But next up was Jesse's trial. They proceeded, but they tried the rape case in Fairfax from 2005 first. They found the victim, and she agreed to testify. Remember, I said that she was an exchange student from, or she was on a student visa from India.
Yep.
So in June of 2015, the trial was underway, and he, of course, pled not guilty. They had a witness. They had DNA. You know, the witness is the guy that drove up in the car. He agreed to testify.
Okay.
But if the victim didn't show up, he and his attorney figured that he likely had a shot. And you remember, this woman's from India. And she had gone back to India a long time ago. So if he could get cleared of this rape, maybe he could beat the murder charges as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was their strategy. But she did show up.
Good.
It was likely explained to her that if she could help get Jesse convicted on her case, that two other women who weren't able to testify could get justice.
Yeah.
So as Jesse was being led into court, he intentionally brushed up against Dan Harrington, and he looked down at Dan and Jill. And Jill locked eyes with him, and she didn't look away.
Good.
He had to break eye contact from her as the guards moved him along. That's a boss move from Jill there.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking
Stare
of
me down, I'll stare you down, motherfucker.
yeah, you killed my daughter, you piece of shit. But
Yeah.
speaking of boss move, the victim in this case, she took the stand like a boss. She very boldly described every second of the rape, and even showed in court some of the positions that Jesse had her in during the attack. She had gotten contusions on her face.
I hate it.
Yeah, but she's a badass bitch, though.
Still, just the thought of that and having to do that, that bothers me. Sorry.
Oh, it bothers me too, but I'm glad she did it.
Yeah.
But she had gotten contusions on her face as well as broken ribs. If the man in the car hadn't arrived when he did, she would have been dead too. And he also testified. The prosecution rested, and now it was the defense's turn. But the defense wasn't prepared for this woman to show up from India. They asked for a recess, and it was granted. 2 days later, Jesse gave an Alford plea, which means that he's not admitting guilt, but he acknowledged that there was enough evidence there to convict him. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. He was still convicted and sentenced to life without parole. 1 down, 2 to go.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Obviously, the most famous case with Alford plea is obviously the West Memphis 3, and that's something that we're going to cover at some point. That's when I feel like doing a 6-part episode.
Oh, that's one I will never touch. Oh my god, it's just so much. It's too much.
I'm going to because yeah, I don't know. I kind of I don't know. I like Damian Eccles. I hate the case. I like him, and I'm going to tell it.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one though.
It is, especially because I've been there. I've been to the exact truck stop where that blue beacon is. I've been there.
Yeah.
That's not a place that you want to park for the night. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And I've never parked there for the night. But I have fueled there, and you are panhandled by, in the 10 minutes that it takes you to fuel one of those trucks, you will be panhandled by at least 5 people.
Oh, shit.
6 months later, March of 2016, Jesse pled guilty to the murders of Hannah Graham and Morgan Harrington. He was trying to get a plea deal of 25 years in prison. Because of the Alford plea, the judge asked Jesse if he was pleading guilty because he was in fact guilty, and he said, "Yes, Your Honor, I am pleading guilty because I am guilty."
Okay.
During the trial, Jesse admitted how he snapped their bones and dumped the bodies, which also, going back to what we were talking about Hannah, where I was saying it's just like probably, without trying to be a dick, like wishful thinking,
Mm-hmm.
Look at this guy. He's a freaking. He's the Hulk.
Yeah, I gotcha.
He's the Hulk going up against a child, basically.
Yeah.
Not that she was a child, but
we're just old though, so
Yeah, she didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
But the judge slapped down the plea deal.
Oh shit.
Yeah. For Hannah.
Let's get that fucking out of there. Just the way you said that, I imagined basketball in just a big center blocking a shot and being like, "Fuck you, get out."
Yeah.
It's my house. Yeah, fuck that. Try it again.
Yeah, but he reacted like LeBron James when somebody nudged him.
He cried and grasped a fucking body part like he had just been shot. Not surprised his bed in prison wasn't comfortable. And he felt it necessary to complain about that. So, yeah.
But for Hannah, it was guilty of first-degree murder, guilty of abduction with the intent to defile. And it was the same charges for Morgan. And he got 2 life sentences with no parole. Consecutive.
Good.
In total, he got 7 life sentences.
I was going to say, what is the total? 7. That's perfect.
7, yeah. I'll put a link in the notes because there's a site with the courtroom procedures.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, we could do an entire episode just on the trial.
Yeah.
Lots of fireworks and everything, but it's just this episode's long enough as it is. So, we'll put it there if you want to read it. Feel free.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that happens a lot with, when we do shit like this, that we're more for, our podcasts are more for this is the criminal, this is the crimes, this is the victims, and less about here's the trial procedures of how they actually put them away. That's a whole different subgenre.
It is. I mean, I'm not really into crime drama unless fireworks happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there was this book that I had bought about a Chattanooga case. It was on the surface, it was really good and everything, but as far as what actually went down, the book didn't really say much. It was just basically a book about a courtroom drama. Yeah. Like I said, we kind of took a downswing because of a couple episodes that we've put out recently. That would really, people would get 20 minutes into that episode and hit stop.
Yeah, I know.
Our listeners, but if I ever start a Patreon up again, I might cover that case on it. But Morgan's parents said that everybody involved in this case, from the women who were killed to their families, to the police, to even the media, were victims. Jill had even extended this to Jesse's family, especially his, Jesse's mother, and she had completely lost it in court when the sentence was handed down. Jesse's family came for the defendant's side of the courtroom, walked up to the parents of Morgan and Hannah, shook their hands, said they were very sorry about what had happened to their girls. And Jesse's mother hugged Morgan's mother. She asked Jill if she would always pray for her. Jill said, "Yeah, you always pray for me." Deborah, and she said her name, because that was Jesse's mom's name, Deborah. Jesse said, "Yes, I will." And then the hug ended, a lot of class and mercy shown by Morgan's parents.
I mean, it's not the parents' fault that their kid did this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but she was
It's
also
an ugly situation overall.
Yeah. But we cover cases where, like the victim's family, wants nothing to do with the family of the perpetrator. This was not that. And
Yeah.
but Jesse Matthew will never hurt or kill anybody again. Like I said, there's still many missing women throughout Virginia and in college towns, in and near college towns who haven't been found. Lots of them went missing in October and November. And I think once they're found, there's a good chance that DNA will prove that Jesse was responsible for some of them. To be a serial killer, you need 3 victims. Jesse's only been convicted of 2. But do I believe that he is a serial killer? You bet your ass I do.
Especially with the other assaults, against the exchange student, because,
And
like you said, that would have ended in murder if it wouldn't have been for the dude driving up.
Mm-hmm. But when asked about the possibility of other murders by Jesse, his attorney, Doug Ramser, told reporters that it's ridiculous to think that he could have been involved in other murders.
What? My client who was just found guilty of murder? I'm sure he didn't do any other murders.
Yeah, none. Nah.
Straight face.
I couldn't be an attorney. It's just I would
considered it for a while.
I would hate to be the guy that sent an innocent person to prison or to death row or whatever. But I would also hate to be a defense attorney that has to get pieces of shit like that off, knowing full well that they're fucking lying.
I've thought about that because I went to university and shit and briefly considered going to try to be a lawyer, and it was just I knew I would have been the type that you're talking about, the worst defense attorney. That would have been me, because I would have been this is just a stupid fucking game and it's about winning, and that's all it is. There's no right. It's the law is just that's it, and then I would have been basically Saul Goodman. And that would have been very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CBS 6 News in Richmond reporter Laura French. She thinks that he's a serial killer as well. And in 2020, she contacted Jesse in prison and interviewed him by phone. Jesse said that he was always a religious man, but he had gotten away from God for a while, but now he was a lot closer with him. French told him that people think he's a monster. And he's like, I can understand why they would say that, but I'm not. Yeah, and of course he didn't accept responsibility for what he had done.
No.
She asked him about why he struck in the fall. He said he didn't know how to talk about that, which French believes was him confirming that this was a pattern with him. Yeah, it shows a pattern. He doesn't know how to talk about it, because if he does talk about it, it's going to shine more of a light onto some of these missing women that are reported in the college towns in the vicinity.
That's an extremely odd response to that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk about that. It's a very strange thing to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost, what do you say to that girl in the bar? It's just women that take care of their feet, they take care of everything else too. What the fuck does that even mean?
That's going to be stuck with me for life. So thank you for that.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, that's what we do.
Exactly. Hannah's parents chose to stay out of the spotlight. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, God, no.
But remember I said that Morgan wanted to be a teacher? The Harringtons took some of Morgan's ashes to Zambia. Launched a new wing on a school that was there in Morgan's name. Her ashes were mixed in with the mortar that used to hold the bricks together, so she's there in spirit as long as that school is open.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The Harringtons also started a nonprofit called Help Save the Next Girl. Its mission is to help educate college girls about predatory danger on college campuses.
Mm-hmm.
May 19th, Jesse. In May 19th, Jesse was moved from the Red Onion Prison. I just think that's like the weirdest name for a prison, but
the
Red Onion Prison.
Why?
I don't know. The Red Onion.
Stumped the band with that one. Shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, onions make you cry.
I mean, apparently the beds aren't great there. And the fucking clothes are terrible. Jesus.
I hope it's like right next to a frickin' onion field. You know?
Duh. Heats
because
up in
the
day.
smell.
Oh, you can smell.
Yeah. Because our episode on God, who Sandy Razzo, her
Mm-hmm.
you know, the guy that killed her, he was put in South Bay, you know, at a prison in South Bay, Florida, which place that I drive through, you know, next to like on a regular basis, and it's right next to sugarcane, you know, sugarcane fields because it's down there in the Everglades, and but once a year they have to burn off, you know, the excess stumps and everything, and it just smells horrible. So it's just like, it's bad enough just driving through there with the windows rolled up. Imagine being there. When that's and
smelling.
And when they do it, you get borderline whiteout conditions. Except there's no snow. It's smoke.
Oh shit.
And it stinks to high heaven.
Ugh.
So maybe Red Onion Prison is right next to. Yeah. Maybe Red Onion Prison is right next to an onion pasture or whatever.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. But he was moved from there to Sussex State Prisons because he had to get medical treatment. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Now, Red Onion is a supermax prison, which maybe they cut onions inside the prison like all the time, and like right next to one of the main air conditioner vents.
Just wafting through every corridor at all times, with differing amounts of just red onion musk.
But Sussex is not. But if he's got Sussex is not a supermax. But if he has stage 4 colon cancer, he's not going to be trying to escape.
No. And how old is this dude now?
He was born in 1981. So
he would be 43.
Yeah. But this is 2019. Now,
oh shit.
But part of his sentence was that he would not be able to be released for geriatric reasons until he had served 4 life sentences.
So, you know, suffer. Enjoy that.
Yeah. In 2021, a group of women filed a lawsuit against Liberty University for creating a campus environment where sexual assaults were more likely to occur. One woman, whose name isn't given, says that Jesse Matthew assaulted her when she was 15 years old when she was attending a summer camp there. She said that she was on her way back to her dorm when Jesse grabbed her and dragged her into a bathroom. She got away, but he caught her and groped her and started choking her. But she bit Jesse's arm really hard, and he gave up, and she was able to get away. And this was in 2000.
Holy shit.
I looked for a while for any current updates on him, but I couldn't find any. The most recent that I could find are when he was moved from the Red Onion for colon cancer to Sussex. But I really got to think he's dead. I mean, you don't last 5 years with stage 4 colon cancer.
I mean, that's why I was asking how old he was, because I remembered at the very start, like, I mean, he's right around my age, so it kind of stuck out. And yeah. Shit.
I couldn't find anything. I even looked on, findagrave.com.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he died in prison, then that's probably not going to find its way to findagrave.com.
Well, I mean, sometimes they do, though. I mean, sometimes it surprises you that it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, is he still alive? I mean, 5 years. You usually don't come back from stage 4 colon cancer.
That's true. And that was the article that said stage 4 was 2019. So yeah, no, seriously. Right. I mean, he's young, so you have more resilience the younger you are.
But stage 4 colon cancer is stage 4 colon cancer.
Well, if he's still alive, that means he's had it the whole time and has probably been suffering.
He's suffering
I'm okay with
immensely.
that.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. Because fuck this guy.
Yeah. Did you find anything?
The last I saw, there's an article talking about from 2024, and it does mention... Wait, that's not even the right... No, wrong guy.
Oh.
One from 2022 that says, like, mentioning he's still alive, but that's the best I can find. And that's just kind of like in passing.
He's probably dead. And if he's not dead, he's wishing he was dead.
Which is good enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... This is... I don't know. This case, I enjoyed covering it just, for the stupidity factor on him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's not, what happened to his victims and all that. But I would like, it's just, those people in the law enforcement in Virginia, they need to keep looking for those missing women and run that DNA.
I mean, it looks very sketchy where the timing of, like, when he liked to attack and they went missing and he's in the area for all of that. It's worth, do what you can, I guess.
Yeah.
To check that out, yeah.
Because, I mean, the families of these women, they need closure. And closure doesn't make it better, but closure at least makes it, it's closure. That's all it is. It doesn't make anything better, but you know what happened.
It's got to be... I mean, I've never gone through it, but it's got to be better than not knowing.
Right.
Missing's got to be the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that there was a frickin', serial killer, serial rapist running around during that time.
Not going to put your mind at ease as you don't know where your loved one is, right? Yeah,
right.
No.
So, I mean, this guy was... he was pretty good at covering his tracks until he just walked in and said, "Hey, look at me!"
Hey, word up.
But they were already looking.
I heard someone was looking for me. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, fucking asshole, douchebag.
Yeah, well, I'm glad, like I say, he's either dead or dying. That suits me well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Give him all the treatment. Give him all the treatment because stage 4 colon cancer is one of the slowest and worst. Well, it's not really the slowest, but it's one of the most painful ways to go as far as cancer is concerned.
Yeah.
So, every now and then you find a case that's just like it fires on all levels. And this is one of them.
Yeah, no, this was a good one. I never heard about this guy. Like, when you told me we're going to be doing this dude, I was like, fucking who the hell? Never even heard of him.
And the back-to-school killer is a really appropriate name for him.
Yeah, it is, too. No, he's really gross. He's way up there on the gross scale. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just, have you ever known anybody that was just like, that's just like really, the life of the party and all that stuff. Everybody loves him, but you know the guy, and it's like, that guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Not really, but I mean, I knew a dude. I wouldn't call him the life of the party, but he was like a very normal guy. This was in high school, and he was the nice normal guy. He wasn't too normal. He wasn't too abnormal. He was just and everyone liked Paul. And then he murdered his parents. Yeah. And then he went to a party that same night and just partied like nothing had happened. That fucked quite a few people up.
It's like Tyler Hadley.
I don't know the name.
There's a Florida case. He killed his parents and threw a party at his house with his parents in the bedroom, dead.
This wasn't quite that. Paul shot his parents and then went to, I think it was a party at like a camp, because this was once again rural Nova Scotia, and so it was kind of like a camping drinking party. And from everyone I had talked to, it was like no one knew. It just, everything seemed so normal. And then the next day I was like, oh no, nothing is normal. I was like, shit, glad I missed that party.
Yeah, right. Well, with Hadley, I'm kind of holding off on covering this one. You know, I also drive by the prison where he is incarcerated at. Like, the same day I drive by the other one, I drive by that one too. There's like two within 20 miles of each other. But
okay.
But I'm holding off on doing that one because I've been told by a couple of people that he was sent to one of those troubled teen industry camps.
Shit, yeah.
And if that, I haven't, I've looked and I haven't been able to find anything. But if that's the case, I definitely want to include it in the episode.
I mean, it's important.
It is.
It turns out they were just torturing kids, and
right.
You know.
I mean,
yeah.
It's just like me with my background. You know, we've done a couple of episodes with TTI survivor, and I kind of consider myself an ally to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's not much difference between Colts and the troubled teen industry.
No, God, no, very much so.
So but I'm kind of holding off on Tyler Hadley until I can. I want to find conclusive. Was he or wasn't he before I do that episode?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Because if he was, that changes the dynamic of the case.
Oh, it absolutely does, and it changes.
I mean, it doesn't make what he did. It doesn't excuse what he did, but it. You know, I've listened to like quite a few podcast episodes on him, and they're all like, "Oh, well, he was just a piece of shit" and all that stuff. Well, yeah, he was, but maybe there was a reason why he was.
Well, I mean, that's always usually important in some way, especially something like that, right? It's just like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, having done this enough, it always mystifies me when we have serial killers who just come from
Jesus Christ!
Fine, holy shit.
That was like right down the street.
Yeah, no, that sounded loud from here.
I fucking
jumped.
jumped.
I finish this up before you get hit by lightning and it blows all your electronic gear.
Well, they're all on surge protectors.
Still, though.
But
what effect will that have on your ears? My ears.
No shit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! But the sun had already come out. That was like a lingering thing. I can.
Yeah.
I could. Yeah. The sun's back out. You know.
Yeah.
God damn! That was loud.
Oh fuck yeah!
I jumped. I'm leaving that in. For the YouTube.
I think you're gonna enjoy that too when you re-see it on editing. You're gonna be like, "Holy shit, I did jump."
Well, I'm watching myself on the screen. I saw myself jump.
Yeah.
Damn, that was loud. That was like close. Anyway, thanks a lot for listening. We appreciate the hell out of it. Like, share, subscribe to both CKCB and to Mental Illness Theater, the podcast with the greatest name ever for a true crime podcast.
We try. It's the only thing we got right.
Nah, it's a good podcast. Check them out. Like, subscribe, share to them. Check us out on our YouTube page. comment us up on Apple and on YouTube, all that good stuff. If you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. And until next week, later.
Have fun. Play safe.